Hello everyone and welcome to the video. I have an exciting one for you guys. I am here with my good friend Andrew from high school, and he has built an amazing truck. I wanted him to showcase it for you guys and tell you about the truck and just go over just a magnificent piece of artwork here. So without further ado, Andrew, you want to tell us a little bit about the truck and a bit of the backstory behind it?
Yeah, so like you said, my name's Andrew. Known Aaron for a while. And I started with this 1966 Chevy C10 pickup, and it used to be saddle and color originally. Now it's deep impact blue, and I retain the two-tone white on top. Everything about this truck is original body panels, original steel. The only updates I made to the truck were under the hood, we'll see later. I added fuel injection, 350 Chevy, and a 6-speed manual transmission in it.
So before we pop the hood, you want to tell me a little bit about what year you bought the truck, and then how long it took you to get this truck on the road again, get it all put back together, painted, and built the way you wanted it to be.
So I bought this truck in 2014. I went down to Milwaukee, Wisconsin with my mom. We took a day trip and actually drove it all the way home, about a 3.5-hour trip. The build process took place between 2015 and 2022.
All right, let's pop the hood open. Let's see what kind of goods he's put in this thing.
So what you're seeing now is a 350 Chevy, came out of a 1997 Silverado. We did put a little comp cam in it, and like I said before, it has a Holley Sniper EFI system, so no carburetor anymore, which is a little unusual, but it's kind of a Restomod. It was a factory air conditioning truck, so you can see our air compressor here. This whole front accessory drive came from that 1997 Silverado parts truck we had. So it's got power steering now, power brakes, air conditioning. It's got headers now, power brakes, like I said. This is so I can lock the front brakes and do a big smoky burnout if I want. So it came along pretty good. Yeah, so something you'll notice is it looks exactly like a carburetor, but there's actually a computer in that throttle body that controls, it has your air-fuel ratio and a bunch of sensors that it basically gives you a base calibration and you're good to go. There's no pumping the gas when you get in. It's just get in, turn the key, fire it up, and away you go.
And is that kind of why you went with Holley, is just because you knew that they were very popular when it came to rebuild or restoring these trucks?
Yep, it's simple. So you had 4 wires of power, ground, ignition, and then your wires to your air fuel sensor and your fuel pump. So it's really easy for someone that doesn't want to dig into a huge wiring mess, but they still want the modern drivability of fuel injection. I elected to paint everything gloss black. Looks pretty good, shiny under the hood.
Yeah, it is beautiful, immaculate. Did you say how many horsepower?
It probably makes around 300.
Okay. And torque, do you have a guess?
Somewhere around there too. I haven't had a dynoed, but just after looking in builds from like Motor Trend with a similar engine and cam setup, it would be around 300 for horsepower and torque.
What made you choose this motor to put in this truck? Because obviously this isn't stock anymore. What made you to go with that 97 Silverado you said?
Yep.
What made you decide to put that?
The thing is they're everywhere, right? There's 350 Chevys and everything. And the reason I elected to choose from a 1997 was because from 1996 to 1998, they had a Vortex style motor, which they had different heads, which was the best flowing factory head that they had at the time, and they're pretty reasonable to get into. So that's why I elected to get this, because it's so similar to what would have been here. Some of these trucks did come with a small block Chevy, so it would fit good, it would make good power, be reliable, parts were easy to buy, and it was just something that was readily available to me.
While we're looking at the big components here, did you say what kind of transmission you got in this?
It's a Borg-Warner T56 out of a 1997 Camaro or Firebird.
And what made you choose that? Just because it made it up good, or?
I've always been a manual guy. I love manual transmissions, and it's cool to have a 6-speed.
Yeah. Moving on to the bed of the truck. This is a beautiful part of this truck. You want to tell us a little bit about why you decided to go with an amazing bed like this?
Yeah, well, I wanted to retain the factory wood bed. I obviously didn't want to go with steel like it would be on a newer truck because it just wouldn't fit this truck. It wouldn't be correct. And after doing a lot of searching online, I decided to go with this black walnut that looks really good. Actually, Aaron helped me plane the boards for this truck, so that was pretty cool. And we got them sealed up and installed in the truck, and it turned out really good.
Now let's move on to the interior. This is immaculate, especially in an old truck like this. The only reason this side's dirty is because I rode in there. Otherwise, man.
The thing you'll notice about the truck is the seats. Obviously, there's not a bench seat anymore. These seats came out of a 2017 Chevy Equinox, and they fit pretty good. I don't know if Aaron can tell you, but they seem to ride and sit pretty good. I installed kind of a factory GM looking seat belt, so I still retain some safety aspects of the vehicle. And then obviously I put a carpet in the interior and got some nice floor mats to say Chevy, the heartbeat of America. Yeah, and the rest is just a pretty much factory 66 Chevy C10 interior.
When it came to the dashboard, where does a guy find parts like that to make it look as factory as possible, but still have that, you know, that creature comfort of some nicer stuff?
Yeah, so a lot of the parts you can find on LMC Truck or Brothers Truck, Holley. There's a lot of websites that make repopped dash panels, like the instrument cluster. You can buy all new gauges. You can buy AC vent in the middle. That's kind of a hard piece to find, but there are some people out there that make them. But yeah, there's plenty of sources. LMC Truck is usually pretty reliable, fast shipping, and good quality parts.
You said something unique about the cab, how there's no headliner in it, and it's all steel.
Yeah, I think something cool about these old trucks is there's actually no headliner, and it's an all steel in the inside. And I actually stripped the whole truck down to bare metal and repainted it, and you can tell just by seeing the footage of the top how nice and smooth it turned out. And I chose a silver metallic color, and I think it just complements the blue and the white really well.
Speaking of paint, let's talk about the effort you put into getting this truck all sanded down and ready for paint. How long was that process alone? Not considering the drive line or any of the creature comfort stuff, just paint and putting that sanding and finishing touch on. How long did that take?
So everything you see here was once stripped down to bare metal by my brother and I and my dad. And obviously now it looks very shiny, but there's several stages that go into building a nice fancy paint job. Obviously you have your body filler work, which you'll see many people do, and then several stages of primer and block sanding to get everything as smooth and straight as possible. That whole process probably took about 4 years.
4 years, that's a long time. Was there any major body panels that you needed to find and get other than the original truck to finish this project? Was there any parts of it that were too far gone where you had to get another truck to finish the body?
I ended up getting some of the front pieces. There's this, if you want to walk over here, this piece that holds the grill here, that was pretty smashed, so I actually found an original steel piece on Marketplace, and I went and picked that up. And a lot of the steel panels you can still source today.
And then headlights, I'm assuming that's from one of those parts guys you were talking about. That's a pretty common choice there when you're restoring one of these.
Yep, I went with a more modern LED style, just something a little bit brighter so I could see better. They were a little on the spendy side, but I think when you're driving your classic ride and you want to protect your investment and be able to see well, it's well worth it.
And I want to mention to people, I believe this truck will probably stay in your family for the rest of it.
Absolutely.
I don't think this isn't a flip kind of deal. Nope. Here. This is your baby.
Yeah, this is something I built with my brother, my dad, and even Aaron helped. My family and friends helped me build this truck, and I definitely wouldn't have been able to do it without them. So this is something that'll always stay with me.
And that's a great story. I'd say just the effort and time. You can't pay for this. You can't put a price on that.
Right.
Jumping around a little here, let's talk about the frame. You put a special product on the frame here to make it look as gloss black as it is.
So I use this product called KBS. A lot of people use a product called Pour 15. This is a really similar product. So you take the frame, you rip all the scale and grime off of it, and you use a degreasing product first to get it super clean. Then you come back with an acid-based product, which kills all the rust. And then they have a one-step paint that's moisture cured, and I applied that all with a brush. You can brush it or spray it, and it turns out really glossy and smooth. So there's new factory replacement shocks all the way around. I elected to lower the truck 4 inches in the rear and 2 inches in the front, so I ended up getting new shocks anyway. And so everything on this truck, tie rods, ball joints, shocks, suspension, anything you could replace has been replaced.
Dropping down the suspension reminded me, do you know the past of this truck. Do you know where this truck spent the majority of its life?
I'm assuming this truck spent most of its life in Texas. We can go down to the bumper. And these trucks didn't necessarily come with bumpers from the dealership from what I understand. So you can see right here, this dealership, Doran Chevy Incorporated, and they're out of Dallas, Texas. So I'm assuming the truck spent most of its life there, and then it ended up in Wisconsin and it got in my hands.
Just check out that tailgate too while we're back here. Since we talked about the headlights, as for lights back here, your tail lights, that's probably another popular choice when it comes to restoring these trucks, correct?
Yep, something LED that's really bright in your face. So obviously you want to protect your investment and all your hard work. So when people are driving behind you, they see you when you're braking, right?
Yeah. But then something I bet a lot of people don't do. You got this nice light bar on the back. Tell us why you went that route for a reverse light and your thoughts on that.
Well, kind of the same reason. I obviously want people to see me when I'm backing up, and it's pretty darn bright. Eric can attest to that.
Yeah.
And the bedsides I had didn't have reverse lights in it from when I got them, so I decided instead of drilling holes and mounting up some light, I just mount a light bar on the front or the bumper.
Yeah, I like it. It fits very well.
Yeah, nice sleek look.
So what size tires are on your truck, and why'd you go that route?
I think they're 255, 55, 15s, and I went that route because I bought 15-inch wheels, and I just got something where they would be wide and tall, but not, it's just a good medium ground for something that would look good and fit the wheel really well, and also ride really nice.
Now, I know people in the comments are going to be asking, so what was your intended purpose when building this truck? Was it meant to be just a nice cruiser? Was it meant to be just a burnout machine, a drag truck? What was the idea when you were building this? Or were you going for that just all out, just a fun truck to have?
Yep, that's exactly the goal. I wanted something that could do a little bit of everything. I could do a big burnout if I want to. I can cruise. You know, I got AC and a double overdrive transmission, so I can cruise at 75 miles an hour, no problem. Just something that no matter where I want to go or what I want to do, it's comfortable, it works good, it's reliable, and it's a
nice truck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't think you have, but you haven't taken this on a drag strip or anything, right?
No, I have not yet.
But if you had to take a guess, what kind of times do you think this truck could run?
I have no idea.
I bet some of these guys would know what a truck like this would run.
I've never been to a strip, so I mean, I have no idea.
You guys let us know down in the comments what kind of times you think a truck like this could run. With this motor and transmission setup, it's just driving around, it freaking gets up and goes. So.
Yeah, and it's got a 373 posi in the rear end, something we didn't know yet. It boogies pretty good when you stop the gas. I mean, she sinks you back in the seat.
Yeah. Well, that's a good segue. I think we've covered a lot of the stuff. I'm for sure we've probably missed some details with this truck. There's so much to cover. But
right.
Let's hop in, take it for a drive. Let's get some cool footage for these guys to watch of this thing going down the road and get the in-cab experience.
Sure.
We're on the road now. You want to talk a little bit about drivability. You kind of mentioned it while we were talking there. You built this truck in a way where you could take it out cruising and you're pretty confident that this truck's going to hold up and be comfortable at the same time.
Right. So the thing is the pieces that put this truck together, you know, yeah, it's the motor was from a truck and the transmission was from a car, but they all bolt up perfectly together, and it ended up getting a clutch and flywheel for a Camaro. So yeah, it's just really easy to drive, steers really nice and easy, brakes good. It's a Restomod. It's got an old body on it, but it's very comfortable and fun to use still.
What's the longest trip you've ever taken this truck on since you've had it built?
Probably an hour and a half, 2 hours away from home, and no hiccups, no nothing.
And this is something too that, other than the winter, you're still driving this fairly often, correct? At least, what, once a week during the nicer months?
Yep, so I work, I commute an hour to work and back, so makes that trip no problem. It's just something I can hop in, fire the key, and we're good to go.
Heck yeah. That's a good toy to have, something that works.
Yeah, something that's good, reliable, and the thing is there's a lot of parts out there to service this truck still, so it's not something that I'm worried to use and that it'll break and well, now what do I do?
Yeah.
So I'm always able to use it and service it still.
We are on our way back now from Mexico, and it was a great time. Man, this is a heart stopper here. This freaking, she rips, man. She's a heck of a machine.
It's a lot of fun. Just want to say thanks to Aaron for letting me, share my story on his channel, and make sure to click the reminders so you get reminders when he posts a new video, and make sure to sub and like the video.
Heck yeah, that's what I like to hear. Thank you for sharing it with us.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity.
If you guys enjoyed, make sure to hit that like button and check out our other videos, and leave plenty of comments for Andrew. Let him know what you thought. So,
yeah.
Anyways, we'll see you guys next time.